So let's do the check for example 3 here, all right? Or the extend, I should say. We did the check. So if you have to look at the example again, because it was yesterday, do that. A similar question to the check a little while ago, like an example 1. So for our example 3, she's 45, wants to retire at 62, all right, 17 years. Single deposit, is this a single? Oh no, periodic deposit. Wants 300,000. And the extent they're asking what would cause a larger required monthly deposit. Half the interest rate or half the number, or half the time, half the years. So what you should probably do is what I do first. Half the rate, right? Get on your TBM solver, and then half the years. How much per month? On your TBM, yes. Yeah.
I don't even remember how big it is. Oh,
Not at all.
really?
Let's see. Look, hey, Paul. Paul, here's the example 3. 17 years.
No, I mean, I don't even remember how to give me my phone.
Oh, so open up the scratchpad calculator, menu 8, I think it is. And 1. Is that what you meant? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I wasn't aware of how far back you didn't remember.
Yeah.
Anybody get the monthly deposit when it's half the rate?
I look at, oh, just a little. Sorry about that.
It's okay. Nobody's got that yet, half the rate? Okay. Man. You people weren't working in the NASA control room when Apollo 11 went sideways.
Although, yeah, it doesn't matter about my data.
What? Well, right. Those astronauts would have been long gone by the time you figured out their trajectory back. What'd you get, Sheldon? For half the rate? Nope, but thanks for playing.
I got half the year, and that's almost double.
All right, what was it for half the number of years?
28 or 7.
No.
They're like 35 salary for the number. 1506.
I got 1506.11 when the rate is in half.
I got that.
Okay. Right? So instead of 1338 a month, if she's only getting half the rate of return on it, it's going to cost 1506 to get that 300,000. But what about if it's half the years until she retires? How much money per month? Thank you. I was about to find a chair to sit down in. $3,013, and what was it, 32 cents? Yeah. Right? That's like, it's almost like the rate really doesn't matter nearly as much as the time. So the lesson here for retirement contributions would be to what? Start early. Start early. I'll even use an exclamation point, and I hardly ever use those. Very sparing of my exclamation points. All right. Hopefully TDM stuff's coming back to you, we get that, Paul? Those numbers? Okay. How do you know that he didn't get it? Oh, I said, Paul. It's like he's your attorney or something. Secretary.
You'd rather be a secretary.
Okay.
Can we go over it for that?
Go over what?
The TBS.
Okay, Paul, since you weren't here yesterday, walk us through example 4, would you? Example 4, Paul.
Xander is a 50-year-old married man who files taxes separately on his wife. He has been making monthly contributions in his traditional IRA for many years. Last year, he entered into a new business partnership and decided to withdraw $50,000 from his IRA to make the additional investment in his partnership. Xander's taxable income for the year, excluding the $50,000 from his IRA, was $96,000. How much extra did he pay in both penalty and taxes because of his withdrawal?
Okay. So, what are we going to do here, kids? Got a tax table, right? All right. So, on income over 100,000, what do we have to use? The table or what? Greater than 100K, right? We need to use the tax worksheet. So it's probably going to come into play here. All right, so let's make sure we know what they're asking here. So he's married filing separately, so we know what column to look in. They say how much his monthly contributions are. It doesn't matter. So he's withdrawing $50,000, okay, from his IRA. Now, is he withdrawing it legally at the time he should? No. What was the age you can start withdrawing? 59 and a half. Is he 59 and a half? Oh, he's 50. Okay, so there's going to be a penalty. They don't include that, do they? The percent, hang on. They might later, but so the early withdrawal penalty is 10%, okay? So there's going to be an early withdrawal penalty. %, which on $50,000, pretty significant. Would you agree? Yeah. So we should find the tax based on what dollar amount? Which is how much? Well, no. Let's do the. Yeah. Let's do the tax on his 96,000. Okay, from the table, right? Because there's that, no. Should be. Oh, remember what's he filing? This is what was out of filing separately, right? So 20,413, yeah. So that tax from the table is married filing separately, 20,413. Okay, so let's keep that number in mind. So now we're going to find out what he's going to pay in penalty and taxes. Okay, so what would his income? So if he takes that 50,000, what's his new income? Because right, he withdrew before he's 59 and a half. So this 50,000 is now considered income, right? So what's his new income after that? Right. So the 96,000 plus the 50,000 equals $146,000. Okay. So the tax on 146K, what do we have to use? Right? We need to use the worksheet. Well, we gotta do 146,000 times what? What decimal? Careful, it's very fine separately. Sugar, right? Or the, oh, that, so it is, so you gotta get to the right column, the right row. So it's that second row, right? They have it on the next page. Right, so we have to do 146,000 times 0.33, right? And what's that give you? 48,180. Right? But that's marginal, right? So what do we subtract? Right, just, what is it? Minus 12,235.50, right? So that's 35,944.50, right? Okay. All right, so is this the tax? Right? So that's his tax now, right? But there's also a 10% penalty for the early withdrawal on top of the tax, right? Okay. So the penalty, early withdrawal, is going to be what times what? 50,000 times 50K times 0.1, which, don't grab a calculator, just tell me. Thank you. $5,000 penalty. And, right? So what's the total in tax and penalty? 35,944.50 plus 5,000 gives you 40,944.50, right? That's his total. Tax and penalty. I think they said how much more, is that? All right. So what are we going to do to figure out what the excess tax and penalty is?
Why do we have to figure out what the tax supplement is?
Are we subtracting from the
Yeah, so we need to, what his tax would have been without doing this withdrawal, right? This withdrawal, which is outside the limits of what you're allowed to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because now the withdrawal, tax on the 50 and a 10% penalty on top of that. They really want to discourage you from doing that, right? So now, what we're going to do, we're going to do the 4944.50 minus what it would have been. What's that give us? 20,531.50, right? Extra. All right, that's pretty big hit. Do you agree?
So the business is going to take off.
Hopefully, right. So hopefully he did some rational calculations, right, beforehand. So, well, this is worth it to me to do it, right?
He calls it a business partnership, but he's definitely running off with a woman with insurance.
Is he?
There's no way he isn't. He's filing separately from his wife.
Yes, that's true. You're like a little,
He's drawing money from an IRA. And he's going into a business partnership.
It's almost like you work for the IRS.
What? No, I would never.
Almost like you're an auditor of some kind, investigator.
What? No.
It's like, this is like the IRS Miami or something, CSI, whatever it is.
IRS Miami.
Or anywhere.
I watched that.
Yeah, they cast a wide net, so.
It's just a bunch of guys in Hawaiian shirts doing taxes.
No, they'd be shirts with pencil protectors, right? Pocket protectors. and-
Well, but
yeah.
it's Hawaiian shirts.
Okay, sure, sitting in a room at a computer.
Doing taxes.
Yeah, man. Imagine the ratings on that show.
Miami.
Well,